joining us right now is the chief of the West Bloomfield Fire Department, Chief Greg Flynn. It looks like you're standing there in the garage at the fire station. Chief, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. Yep, we're here in the apparatus room, fire station number 5, and just prior to the broadcast going live, the crews just responded to another medical in the township here, so I'm all alone.
I got to be honest, I've heard a lot of sirens, and I watched the national news, and they're talking about Oakland and Wayne County. The president and those in the press conferences we got to be right in the thick of it.
We are, and we're looking at, it was 3 weeks ago on Friday that we opened the Emergency Operations Center here in West Bloomfield, along with the county opening theirs, and I tell you, I don't know where these 3 weeks have gone, Dave. A lot has happened since we first spoke. And, I think what I'm most concerned about, and I hope a theme that we can carry through today and through the week, is that this is not the time for us to let up. That the hard work that we've put in up to this far, we're hoping to see some payoff in the coming weeks. Tomorrow will be the 2-week mark for the stay-at-home order issued by the governor, if my math is correct. So we're just achieving that first major step that we took. And now we hope to see some of the fruit from that action.
We're going to talk to folks at Henry Ford Hospital, West Bloomfield, in a little bit, but I know they really have their hands full. You've been responding to people in the West Bloomfield area. I know other departments are responding to other hospitals across our listening area, but from a very local standpoint, and that one hospital, do you have any sense of how they're doing from a capacity standpoint?
So we speak with our friends over at Henry Ford on a regular basis, and what we're hearing from their staff is, yes, they're busy, which one can infer from everything that's going on, but they are holding strong, that they are in a good spot. Their staff is resilient. Their staff is really embracing what they're being called to do and the very challenging patients that they're being asked to care for. So with all of that being said, Henry Ford West Bloomfield is, again, a great partner, standing strong with the WBFD, and very pleased with what their staff is doing and how that hospital is maintaining operations for the community here.
We've been talking to some of the police departments over the last couple of days, and the one piece of good news, they say their calls are down. 911 calls are down because there aren't as many people out on the streets. Is that making it easier for fire departments and EMS officials to respond across our communities?
Well, sure. I mean, you've been at Orchard and Maple before, and you know the craziness of some of the intersections, and clearly that side of it makes it easier for us. But what's truly the folks that are making this all work are our residents, and they're the ones that are really making that happen, because they are staying at home and they're helping to prevent that disease from being transmitted. I know it doesn't feel that way when you're just kind of bouncing off the walls as we come up on 2 weeks here, but it truly is what is making a huge difference.
Do you have any sense if we are getting to the top of the curve? It seems like we're getting close. I know we hear that this is maybe the worst week ever. They've been saying that nationally. I did see that our numbers are moderating. I think they're moderating a little bit. You're closer to it. What's your sense based on the calls that you're seeing in your department right here on the front line in West Bloomfield?
Well, we're not seeing a change. And I'm concerned, and you're probably closer to the meat side of it. I know that there is always a rush to be first, to be the ones to say, hey, we were the first ones to report that this thing was changing. I'm not comfortable with making that call yet. There is not enough days in a row for us to see any kind of trend. And let's say there was a trend. Let's say we were winning. It's the exact strategies that we have in place right now that will keep us in that winning position. So any move right now, I think, would be way premature. And as you started off with there, I think at the front end of this question is, we're bracing for the worst week. And so we stand ready for that. Our crews, as you can see behind me, I'll kind of step to the side here. You'll see a few orange cones. Those orange cones are defining what we're calling a hot zone here in the fire station. And so anytime they're inside of that area, the crews are going to disinfect their gear. They're going to disinfect their shoes, everything, and then they switch out and go into a different pair of shoes they would actually wear inside of the engine house. Also, to the left of me is a staging area where we put all of our equipment out that's in what we'd call a warm zone. So it is a clean area. And then crews will come around to the back of the fire station. They come in, they pick up their equipment, and then they take it back to one of the other 5 fire stations here in West Bloomfield.
All right, Chief Greg Flynn of the West Bloomfield Fire Department showing us exactly how they're keeping not only us safe and talking about that on calls, but also talking about how he's keeping his own crew safe. I've got to go grocery shopping tonight, so I'm going to get a couple of cones and set them up in my apartment and, put things in an area, maybe out on my deck or somewhere before I get things cleaned off to get things in the house. It's I'm isolated, but getting the groceries in, that's a handful, and we'll talk about that later on in the show. Thank you, Chief, for joining us. I'm going to keep you here for a minute. Our next guest is somebody you know, and he is one of the dispatchers in Troy. That's not why we're going to talk to him, but Matthew Pillsbury joins us on the line. He said that, Chief, that you helped instruct him early in his career. So, Matt, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Good morning, gentlemen.
All right, you can say hello to the Chief. We can't see you, Matt, because you're on the phone, but Greg Flynn is smiling, big ear-to-ear smile, because one of his students is on the line. And, Chief, you're a celebrity. Everywhere I go, people know you.
Everybody knows Chief Flynn.
Nonsense.
All right, well, I know your line's breaking up, Chief. We're going to let you go. Thank you very much for joining us.